Reptile versus reptile. Long, long ago, reptilian monsters lurked in prehistoric rivers. Super Croc and Titanoboa were among the most feared. Each one was gigantic and able to overpower other animals of every size. Super Croc creeped around during the age of dinosaurs. And then Titanoboa appeared after dinosaurs went extinct. But what if the two had crossed paths? What would have happened? Super Croc. Super Croc lived a semi-aquatic lifestyle, but it spent more time in water than on land. Most often, it stayed submerged in shallow water near a riverbed. From there, it could surprise unsuspecting prey. The crocodile was known to attack all kinds of animals. It caught fish that swam by. And it snatched land animals that approached the water's edge. Even dinosaurs were not safe. In terms of size, Super Croc was super large. It weighed as much as 10 tons. This means it was about 10 times heavier than the largest living crocodile, the saltwater crocodile. Within its snout, Super Croc had strong jaws with more than 100 teeth. The teeth curved backward and came to sharp points, so the crocodile could sink its teeth into an animal and then drag it underwater. Titanoboa. Titanoboa slithered around tropical rainforests. In these habitats, it was a master of camouflage. Its skin blended in with the forest floor and with muddy water. When hiding, the snake stayed very still, but it would stick out its tongue. This was to pick up scent. If it smelled prey, it quickly attacked by ambush. Animals had no time to escape. In terms of size, Titanoboa was a titan. It weighed around 1.25 tons. This means it was about 5 times heavier than the largest living snake, the green anaconda. Inside its mouth, Titanoboa had strong jaws and sharp teeth. But the snake lacked a venomous bite, so its long, muscular body was its main weapon. It could squeeze prey to death. The matchup. Fight time! To confront Titanoboa, Super Croc follows the snake into water. It does not make a big splash, but the snake still detects the Croc's nearness right away. Then, almost in sync, the two rise up to fight. The Croc bursts above the surface with its mouth wide open. And the snake whips its upper body in midair. Super Croc slides underwater again to dodge a strike. It dives down far enough to get underneath Titanoboa. Then, from below, it snaps. The Croc lunges at the snake. And it nearly grabs the snake with its teeth. But the snake slips away before the Croc's jaws fully shut. Soon after, Super Croc feels pressure on its neck and midsection. This is from Titanoboa, The snake is wrapping its body around the croc like a rope. Once completely looped, the snake tightens its hold on the croc more and more. The croc is stuck and without a way out. The winner! Titanoboa! Predator versus predator. When dinosaurs roamed the earth, many of them hunted or fished for food. But among the meat eaters, there were predators and there were super predators. The super predators found themselves at the very top of the food chain. Spinosaurus and Tyrannosaurus were both up there during the Cretaceous period. However, they lived at different times, so they never had to compete. If they had met, which carnivore would have been the ultimate super predator? Spinosaurus. Spinosaurus made prehistoric waters extremely dangerous. It stalked other swimmers, and those it caught, it didn't release. It fished to eat. To fish, the dinosaur would wade in shallow water or submerge itself in deeper water. From either position, it could locate prey, and with just a surge of speed, it could capture any creature in its sharp claws or teeth. In terms of size, Spinosaurus was enormous. It weighed 20 tons or more. This means it was more than 3 times the weight of the killer whale, one of today's top predators. Down its back, Spinosaurus had a long row of raised spines. The tallest ones measured 7 feet, 2.1 meters high. And altogether, the spines functioned like a billboard. They let Spinosaurus command attention. Tyrannosaurus. Tyrannosaurus turned ancient forests into unsafe dwelling places. The weaker animals there had to hide to survive. If Tyrannosaurus found them, they would become prey. To hunt, the dinosaur stomped around clearings. It used its senses to track nearby animals. And once it located a target, it attacked. With its powerful bite, it could break bone and rip flesh. In terms of size, Tyrannosaurus was king size. It weighed as much as 8 tons. This means it was almost 30 times the weight of the African lion, today's king of the jungle. From the neck down, Tyrannosaurus didn't look too terrifying. It had especially tiny front limbs. But above the neck, the dinosaur's appearance was threatening. Its head was huge, and its jaws were toothy. The matchup. Fight time! Set to compete, Spinosaurus and Tyrannosaurus approach. Then once close, the dinosaurs stop advancing. Each one takes a moment to size up the other. Spinosaurus has the edge when it comes to weight. But Tyrannosaurus has the bigger bite. Neither one is short on confidence. Spinosaurus gets aggressive first. It reaches out its long snout to grab Tyrannosaurus by the neck, but it catches Tyrannosaurus by the tail instead. Tyrannosaurus immediately tries to shake Spinosaurus off, but that doesn't work. So then, it drags Spinosaurus until the dinosaur has enough and lets go. Up on its feet again, Spinosaurus claws at Tyrannosaurus. But this does little to wound Tyrannosaurus. It leaves more scratches than deep cuts. Then, finally, Tyrannosaurus shows its full strength. It closes Spinosaurus's jaws with its own. And it doesn't release until its opponent is crushed. The winner, Tyrannosaurus. Swimmer versus swimmer. In prehistoric times, waters were not calm. Sea monsters lurked everywhere and endangered other marine life. They terrorized ocean creatures at great depths and those at the surface. During the Jurassic period, Ichthyosaurus chased countless victims. And then, in the Cretaceous period, Elasmosaurus pursued its own share of prey. But which reptile was the better villain? Was it the sprinter or the stalker? Elasmosaurus. Elasmosaurus creeped around ocean waters as deep as 3,000 feet, 914.4 meters. It avoided greater depths because of its need to breathe air from time to time. After all, it had lungs, not gills. Within its range, Elasmosaurus would target mollusks and crustaceans along with fish. However, it was not alone in this. The predator often had to compete with another sea monster, Mosasaurus. In terms of size, Elasmosaurus was one large plesiosaur. Overall, it weighed a little over 2 tons. This means it was twice the weight of the leatherback sea turtle, a powerful paddler of today. Attached to its body, Elasmosaurus had 4 flippers for paddling through water. But the animal's longest extension was its neck. This supported a small head with a mouthful of sharp and even fang-like teeth. Ichthyosaurus. Ichthyosaurus darted around ocean water known for its darkness. A lack of light was not a problem for the hunter. It had giant eyes that could see through dimness and from a distance. Still, Ichthyosaurus also appeared where sunlight hit the surface. The carnivore could not just chase fish and squid without pause. It had to take breaks to breathe. In terms of size, Ichthyosaurus was somewhat small for an ichthyosaur. It weighed right around 350 pounds, 158.8 kilograms. This means it was just a little heavier than the bull shark, a fast attacker of today. Behind its body, Ichthyosaurus had a powerful tail fin. Its side-to-side motions could reach 22 miles, 35.4 kilometers per hour. And in front, the animal had a pointed snout with many curved teeth. The matchup. Fight time! Elasmosaurus paddles below the surface with much expectation. It knows that Ichthyosaurus will soon appear for a fight. Then, from behind, Ichthyosaurus does. To get its eyes on Ichthyosaurus, Elasmosaurus whips its long neck around. It sees a smaller monster, but it cannot look past Ichthyosaurus's lengthy jaws. Ichthyosaurus races by Elasmosaurus. And on the way past, it slaps Elasmosaurus in the face with its tail. Now, Elasmosaurus is not going to let Ichthyosaurus just swim away. So it surges ahead and snaps at Ichthyosaurus. However, Ichthyosaurus is a slippery opponent. Eventually, Ichthyosaurus escapes to deeper, darker water. Elasmosaurus loses sight of it, but Ichthyosaurus can still see Elasmosaurus clearly. Then, when ready, Ichthyosaurus speeds toward Elasmosaurus with open jaws. It locks them around Elasmosaurus's neck, and the hold proves unshakable for Elasmosaurus. The winner, Ichthyosaurus. Flyer versus flyer. At the same time dinosaurs lived, pterosaurs lived. These prehistoric reptiles were winged wonders bigger than birds. Some of them had wingspans that stretched almost 50 feet, 15.2 meters. The very biggest one, Quetzalcoatlus, flew around during the late Cretaceous period. And before that, there was the impressive Pteranodon. If together, which one would have controlled the skies? Pteranodon. Pteranodon focused on winging its way across ancient landscapes that featured fishable waters. After all, the carnivore craved fishy meals more than anything else. This included both fish with fins and shellfish. When fishing, Pteranodon used the pelican method. First, it flew above a body of water. Then, at the sight of fish, it plunged beak first to the surface. Right there, it would make its catches. In terms of size, Pteranodon was respectable. Its total weight was about 100 pounds, 45.4 kilograms. This means it was around 4 times heavier than the wandering albatross, one of today's biggest water birds. Like an albatross, Pteranodon had long wings, and it flew around without flapping them much. But unlike the bird, the reptile had clawed fingers attached to each wing. It also had a pointed crest opposite its sharp beak. Quetzalcoatlus. Quetzalcoatlus traveled throughout the swampy lands of its day. In these places, the carnivore could choose to walk or fly to food. It liked to eat smaller animals of all kinds. When hungry, Quetzalcoatlus scavenged with its beak. It would skim wet areas for fishy meals. It would also probe drier parts for discarded meat. On foot, it sometimes turned to hunting. In terms of size, Quetzalcoatlus was supreme. It weighed 500 pounds, 226.8 kilograms overall. This means it was easily 15 times heavier than the Andean condor, the largest bird of prey around today. Like a condor, Quetzalcoatlus had massive wings, and it could use them to become airborne. It also had a knobby head crest, but unlike the bird, the reptile had clawed hands and an enlarged, pointy beak. The matchup. Fight time. Quetzalcoatlus and Pteranodon approach the same airspace. Each flyer wants control of this piece of sky, so an aerial fight begins. To start, Quetzalcoatlus flies in a circle around Pteranodon. This is to intimidate the smaller pterosaur. However, it does no such thing. With ease, Pteranodon changes altitude. And then suddenly, Pteranodon is on top of Quetzalcoatlus. Its sharp beak has a good hold of Quetzalcoatlus's neck. Quetzalcoatlus eventually shakes Pteranodon off. But that only causes Pteranodon to plummet. Quetzalcoatlus has no choice but to dive down too. While plunging, Pteranodon loses track of Quetzalcoatlus's whereabouts. So Quetzalcoatlus has a chance to attack by surprise, and it swoops down to do so. Pteranodon now finds